We're on. So hi, this is Tom Barnhart. I'm here in late June with Anya Berczynska from Schaeffler Group in Wroclaw. And we are doing our weekly or every 2 weeks Meet the Manager series. And this week is with Anya Berczynska. So Anya, nice to meet you. Nice to see you again. And wanted to check in with you and Schaeffler and give us a little bit of update of how things are going there in Wroclaw. But before we kind of ask some more questions, give us a bit of overview of what Schaeffler is doing in Wroclaw, how long you've been there, what services you're providing, et cetera.
Hi, Tom. Thanks for the invitation to the interview. Yes, I've been the managing director of our Wrocław Multifunctional Center since October 2018. And Schaeffler, as the mother company, is purely automotive. We have 3 divisions: automotive OEM and automotive aftermarket, which is more like the spare parts for the dealers of cars. And then we have industry with the geographic span all over the world. So basically a huge corporation with long tradition of over 8 years.
Yes, okay. And in the shared services center in Poland, tell us a bit of history of that, the short history of that operation.
Shortly, yes, we haven't been here for long, so it's going to be short. So we started, as mentioned, in October 2018 as a greenfield and as the first multifunctional service center in Schaeffler Group, which has its pros and cons, of course. And we are now above 300, still recruiting. This let's say, we are at the break of the second up to the 3rd year of a build-up phase. With, of course, first pilots and first transitions completed. So you may say, you may call us like a multiple speed track organization. Okay. So partially mature and partially very fresh and young. And what's interesting, we of course have traditional processes like finance or HR or IT as almost everyone else in the sector. But we also have logistics, so everything what you can do with transport, customs, and all the let's say arrangements of logistics from your desk, not physically at the site, at the shipping point, as well as purchasing. So quite new topics, I guess, to the market. And about that, we have like a linkage with the group's DNA in terms of robotic process automation center of excellence, which provides services globally for the back office functions. It's not meant to be really only for the center. It's the opposite, actually.
Okay, and where is that based, by the way? The RPA, you have an RPA center of excellence inside Schaeffler? Where is that physically based?
I mean, physically, it's based in Wrocław with analysts spread around the globe. That's a network, actually. And of course, we are partially under umbrella of finance, IT, and digitalization. So we are interconnected in the way of we are set up here with the RPA team. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So we're, of course, going to get into the impact of COVID, as every conversation does these days. But before that, tell us a bit about Schaeffler and in terms of the decision for Wrocław, why Wrocław, or what are you seeing that's making that decision a wise decision, and talk a bit about the pool of people that are there. I'm curious if you're taking people from other SSCs or different, early stage career people or intermediate stage.
Mm-hmm. So before I go to the question, yeah, indeed, we cannot avoid COVID-19 talks, but let's park it for now. I think nothing exceptional in terms of the setup and hiring processes. So of course, when we started, we wanted to have a balance entry in the local market. So it means we didn't want to headcount particular, let's say, skill set in particular teams. So we hired a recruitment agency which helped us to have that balanced approach to the local market.
Okay.
And
who was that, by the way? Can you tell me which one?
Yes, in the beginning it was Randstad. Yeah.
Okay.
And that was a good decision. We managed to go exclusively with Randstad for a while, with first hirings, and the approach was not to hire youngsters or graduates. We wanted to approach the specialists and senior experts to build the critical mass first, and on that build the next phases of the ongoing recruitment engine for the next 4 years, right? So so far we've been successful with delivering the right skill set, including the languages. Actually, it was basically German, right?
Yes.
We started with the biggest geographic let's say segment for our center, which is Germany, and we managed to hire people along with the German language, which is not always easy in combination with finance or a combination
set,
with
right.
Purchasing, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are not really trying to do the direct headhunting, and right now we have almost like 50% of resources. It's employee referral program, and you can see that now it's like really going smoothly with the external resource applicants. Yeah.
Yes, great. And so, in terms of the expansion of Schaeffler and obviously getting into COVID, but the next period going forward, I mean, there's a couple of things going on. There's the impact, of course, on the workforce, on your office space and size. I'm curious to hear about that, how you adjust to that, but also in the overall macroeconomic business in the world for all businesses, most businesses, you're adjusting. And for Schaeffler, do you guys see taking up more business from around the world, EMEA, more languages? Are they happy so far, your management so far, with how the shared service center is delivering, and they're looking at more services? Just give us a bit more insight as to how you might grow in the next 12 to 24 months.
Right. So when it comes to the COVID impact, we haven't really experienced the impact in the center. We are actually back on the strategic agenda of our CEO in Schaeffler. So that's the positive side. Of course, on the other side, we have to adapt the capacities, existing capacities, not mentioning the recruitment plans, to the reality of short work at our customers, internal customer side. So we have taken some actions to really address that issue that occurred with 10 or sometimes even up to 20%. But coming back to what are the plans in the 12-month period, definitely we continue and even exceed the original plans in the growth of our IT service delivery part of the organization. So here it runs quite smoothly, and I think it's not officially mentioned that COVID helps, but I can see that right now we are actually adding new jobs, which might be a coincidence, but it might.
No, I mean we're talking on Zoom right now, and we're doing events on Hopin. So when they're all growing like mad, right? IT guys, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is something in it, and some other functions we have slowed down a bit, but due to unavailability of resources on the side of customers, trainers, right? Because we are still in transitions, but this is just a slight slowdown to adjust to the reality. Nevertheless, we continue with the hiring. So from the over 300 right now, we are planning to be 400 plus in the end of this year, and then let's say in the consecutive years up to 800 in Wrocław. But back to the capacities of the office space, right? We actually are now entering the new floor in the building, which
Okay.
Which actually increases our social distancing adjusted, desk numbers. So
Yes.
we had to adjust the office, right, with this 1.5 or 2 meters for each employee. And right now we can say we are ready for 50% of our employees to work from the office, but that's decided on individual case basis. So office is prepared. We have trained our people. We had a very good communication package, which really helped a lot from the perspective of employees to limit the resistance, to limit concerns of coming back. And the ones who want to come back and the ones that want to really connect and socialize in the office, because that helps, of course.
Yeah.
Not only when it comes to work, but also to the moods and mindset, right? Which
Absolutely. Yeah.
needs to be mentioned. We can see it's working, but of course some concerns about autumn and coming months.
Yeah. Well, no one knows, right? We'll check back in and we will all see about that. So back to you mentioned about transitions and some trainers. Are you all doing then fully virtual transitions now? I mean, or do you need? I mean, are we going to end up in the SSC world that transitions are all going to be virtual anyway? Might that get to that point, or at least scale down from physical meetings, 80, 90%?
Very good question. I mean, we have all in the sector, we have proven that we are COVID resistant, and we can really do remote trainings, including the induction trainings. Of course, you can train somebody to technically perform the job, right? And take the responsibility over to the center. Nevertheless, I'm curious in the long-term perspective, whether you can still build that linkage to the DNA of the company, or loyalty to the brand, or the understanding what you as the company stand for, right? So for sure, technically, 100% of virtual trainings is doable, supported by local leaders, of course, right? With the Q&As and so on, right? To make sure that this knowledge and experience virtually driven is well embedded. But the soft part of the work shadowings that you do and the connection with your customers might be like hardship, right? Compared to the technical skill set. And this is the question mark which I also have, and I think this can be addressed not earlier than within the next half a year, when we will be able to survey our colleagues, right, about their satisfaction level, all the issues, which we will do for sure in the center. And I think it's an important message to be sent out to all sector leaders, that we need to be sensitive to this responses to this topic of satisfaction, and completely adjust the satisfaction surveys and how to evaluate the value we provide due to the lack of physical connection and completely virtual collaboration.
Yes. And in terms of that virtual side of it, will you all require, different question, will you allow people to stay at home kind of forever if they want to do it that way? And then another adjustments I've heard is that one of the SSEs in Vilnius is going to go to a 4-day work week and gonna have a 5th day off entirely. But what else do you see adjustments coming from your side in terms of the post-COVID world now?
I am the last person to make decisions right now. I'm always, trying to sense and trying to really do what I can resonate, right, in the ecosystem of employees, customers, decision makers, and sponsors of the center, right? So it's like a combination of things that you need to consider. As of now, for the short period of time, let's say resilience phase, where we all are going out of the COVID, we can say this virtual works, right?
Yes, yes.
The new normal of virtual world works. But I can hear more often that customers needs interaction, and they want to come and see, and they want us to visit once it is possible and first plans are being done. So I say you need to have the space for these physical interactions between people. So of course we will adjust the hirings. We will allow people to have new forms of contracts, like complete remote type of contract I'm talking about, but then it's a part of discussion, right? And it's part of negotiations with the candidate at the candidate stage. The ones that want to be in the work in the office, we will of course provide these opportunities and do our best to keep the office space safe and secured. But of course, we want to allow more flexible model in terms of home office. Let's see how, by the way, the legislation will allow us, right? Right now, we still have this flexibility of working home to the scale we want, right?
Yes.
To the extent we want. But if it continues for a longer period of time, we need to also look at the legislation, how it works. But let's stay flexible and open and adjust to the situation and have a complete mixed flexible model in place.
Yes, yes. And you mentioned your clients or your customer, or even your HQ. What are the perceptions so far of your top management in terms of the SSE? I mean, to say happy and unhappy or whatever isn't enough, but give us some bit of context about what they're saying, what they're feeling, what seems to be working particularly well, what surprised them so far, this kind of thing.
Sure. So yeah, in general, we have built a reliability of a service provider for our internal customers with that, you know, interconnection, that we are not a shared service center somewhere in the space,
Yes.
but
Yes.
we are part of the DNA of the company, right? That's
real
what matters.
Humans. Yeah.
Yes, humans connected, a part of one company, and that is what we have proven. But on the other side, there are areas where we do need to improve for sure, and partially it comes from the transition periods, partially it comes because of the COVID impact and completely change approach from our customer side. Sometimes system adjustments require more education, more trainings on both sides. So there are areas where we are, you know, open to say that yes, indeed, we have failed. We have weak areas. This is the, you know, resolution plan. We need to continue. We need to provide an update to our executives, and that's the, you know, the situation. I guess every shared services leader faces from time to time. So staying open and transparent is the way we play with these weak areas, and for sure we have them as well. But in general, we are you know, perceived as a strong, experienced team of people who contribute to the strategic agenda, right?
Yeah, good. That's the way it's supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be. That sounds like the right answer that the HQ would want to have, right? Also, so right. You all won awards at the last awards event back in January at our awards event, and I'm curious to know, has it had any impact on your team building, your morale? Why do you feel that was justified? But tell us a bit about that.
Mm-hmm. For sure, that's an easy question to address. So for sure, you could see when we were coming back to the office, we were already on the phone or emails, and you could hear like everybody's really, wow, what an achievement, and our, you know, stakeholders in Germany, yeah, Anna, give us some pictures, we will make let's say some news about it, right, in our intranet. And it really proves that it's not only us, right, but it proved also, which I like the most, that all the preparation done by our colleagues in Germany, that we let's say leverage from here in the center, right? Yes. And all the trust they have built in us an effort in training us and putting things together in the beginning for the first group of 30 people entering
30.
the door, right?
Yeah.
In October really paid off, and with the ambitious plans, right? Because we really started with 5 functions plus RPA almost in the first month of the existence, right? So bringing a lot of leaders in one place, learning to speak the same language, keeping the recruitment and all the HR stuff that you need to do, not mentioning about the bureaucracy because that's, you know, painful.
Also part of it, yeah.
Exactly. So this award proves that it's worth it. It's worth to really spend numerous hours, overtime, weekends sometimes, to be recognized by the, you know, objective committee. Yeah.
Good. Well, we will. It's a good moment, I suppose, to also kind of tell people we're also going to, the event we will do in February will be our first Hop-In hybrid event. So it will be a live event. We're going to scale down the numbers, of course, but it will be also streamed completely on Hop-In platform as well. So more about that at another stage. Last thing, Anya, as we wrap up, because I try to keep these relatively short interviews. If you were asking some other SSC directors in the market in Poland and Lithuania, somewhere else, what questions would you like to have answers to? Or what question would you pose to them? Let's say you had a chance to ask general managers the same questions I've asked you today. What's top of your head in terms of issues that you might want to share or peel out from other peers of yours?
Thanks for asking, Tom. For me, the most important thing is how do we adapt to this, let's say, dynamic and unpredictable changes in the core businesses, right? Because we are like, you know, we are shadowing the core business, supporting the core business with the functions. So first of all, it's about how to keep our center flexible enough in terms of capabilities, right? How to build the engine of fast induction into the training, so to ramp up very fast with the additional workload in the short period of times, respectively short period of times, or how to slow down with the you know, capacities when it is, I don't know, another peak of epidemic or any other circumstances that you cannot predict in the business, right? Because it will be like this hammer effect.
That's right.
Yeah. So we don't know that. So that's a question mark I have, and I've started to build a concept around it. But for sure, I would definitely like to, you know, challenge myself, my thinking with other leaders.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. Anya, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Good luck with it. You sound like you've done a great job with the center so far. I'm sure lots of challenges. I'm sure lots of little issues that we don't hear about. But I think it sounds like it's going very well. And good luck with the growth and expansion and navigating the new normal. And we'll see when I can physically